I love building cool stuff. I love working with a team that's as ambitious as all hell to, take over the market and being developed side by side. So the whole process has been fun behind that. We love our product. Our product works great. And, seeing everyone's eyes light up when, a sale comes in or when something works is just motivating. So working with a great team is definitely been the process, my favorite part of the process.
Welcome to the Invention Stories Podcast, where we share stories of inventors who turn their idea into a product. Please visit our website at www.inventionstories.com. And now, from the Invention Stories Podcast World Headquarters Studios in Morro Bay, California, is our host, Robert Baer.
Welcome to the Invention Stories Podcast. I am your host, Robert Baer, and thank you for listening. You're listening to Episode 8 of the Invention Stories Podcast. This episode is the second part in a two-part series with Bryce North, who invented TrapTap. He is on the line from Winnipeg, Canada, so let's get back to it. Now, Bryce, we were discussing your Kickstarter campaign and the incredible success. How was that? Did you check after 24 hours and just start high-fiving? Or, was it just really exciting? Were you thrilled with the outcome?
Yeah, we were ecstatic. The last 48 hours of our campaign was extremely nerve-wracking. We lost $20,000 in pledges. It happens all the time. You talk to project creators and, people to start canceling their pledge and changing their mind. So that was nerve-wracking. But, once we finished our campaign, we were absolutely extremely happy about that. But then, that starts the whole array of new onset of problems of delivering and manufacturing, fulfilling, and keeping up the momentum in PR.
Well, we've been doing Invention Stories since 2009, and once Kickstarter and Indiegogo came in, I would sense somebody who's kind of making it or something that I like, and they're really hitting it out of the park. You already hit it out of the park. You'd already exceeded your goal when I contacted you, and you were really quick to get back with me the information, and I thank you for that. I've seen so many that they got a week left and I contact them and they don't even get back to me. And I feel like maybe we could have been a little extra. I think the ones that just don't, I'm wondering why they're even trying. Because this is definitely an art form. It's something that should be planned. I have inventors saying, yeah, I'm thinking about starting a campaign in a week or two. And I'm thinking you should be having 3 months and really understanding, maybe even get some technical advice or some guidance. And $500,000, that's certainly a lot of money. And,
for sure. Yeah, you're right. You need 3 months prep to get everything up and going. That pre-campaign is super important. But I've talked to many projects creators before, and Kickstarter is not easy. It tears you down. Near the very end, you're exhausted to the point where, when everyone deals with it, you have static, happy customers, who want their opinion, who want to be heard, who bombard you with messages every single day. And the other side of the spectrum, you get the most angriest people ever, who just love to attack and vocalize their opinion, who are just bringing you down. And you spend majority of your time doing reputation management and putting out fires on comments, and then people sending you angry messages and just making wild claims about product which they haven't even seen before, saying, "Oh, this is dumb. It doesn't even work." So, well, you haven't even tried it because we haven't even shipped it yet. So I've seen that so many times. And then, you have your evangelists come in and say, no, this is awesome. This is great. And you develop friends on that platform. But God, we were, what we're doing about 120 messages a day at some point. And, at the very end, we had over 1,500 messages. It was a lot. And it was hard to respond to everything. And there's a lot of scams out there. A lot of people wanting interviews but getting free product, and it's really hard to sift through that. But we did it all. We tried everything. We blew a lot of money. We answered every question. And I think, our process of focusing on the three core areas was validation, price testing, and market testing, wanting to do that and get customer feedback, all that is the reason why we were successful. Doing those three things properly gives you your byproduct of actually hitting your goal and exceeding your goal.
So what sort of market research did you do? You seem to have a number of different colors, so was that something that sort of came up when you were doing your research?
Honestly, we just not too much research in that, but we just put it together. We know the key areas. What do we want? We wanted, if you're speeding, you wanted school zones, we wanted red light cameras, and we want user contributed points where if they want to mark something on the road. And so initially we had three colors. We had red, green, and blue. Green if you're speeding, blue for user set traps, and then red for red light cameras in school zones. Quickly to learn that those red light cameras in school zones, it's hard to differentiate between the two, and they're both very important, and people wanted separate colors, so we changed that and added a yellow in there. So the market research we did is talking to our customers. We had an assumption, but we went out and did that. And one of our hardest things is that we started Kickstarter with fake renders and prototypes and just an idea. And then having to create a device that looks and operates exactly like you drew out and threw in a photo in Photoshop is extremely hard. And especially after hearing someone says, well, I want it to mount like this, or now I want to hear tone alerts, not just lights. I'm colorblind. How do I deal with that? And your best market research is always just talking to customers and see what the market has to say.
What's your marketing strategy? How are you approaching getting it out there in the market? Where can we buy it at?
Yeah, you can go to TrapTap.com, TrapTap.com. That's our best and one of our most successful online marketing mechanisms. Otherwise, we plug into a few other platforms. You can go to Best Buy in Canada, bestbuy.ca, and find it. Touch of Modern holds a few promos here and there. And we're all over the place in some flash sales, but on our website is always the best, and you always find the best deal on there.
What are some obstacles that you've had along the way, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, God, I can go on for hours definitely about this here. The biggest obstacle from crowdfunding is when to deliver or not. And you should never deliver a product when it's fully done. You're going to spend too much money and too much time, but you should deliver a product that's, a minimal viable product that's halfway there, and they get feedback and change it in. But you suffer the risk of delivering too early and not having it fully prepared, or having some errors and people complaining, leaving bad reviews, or delivering too late and people demanding refunds, demanding fraud, which we've had, and complaining that they're not getting the device and creating that negative PR. So that was like one of our biggest challenges, is deciding when to actually launch the product. Do we improve, or do we hold back and make people happy? And besides that, it's just dealing with first-time logistics. We had 10 colors. We eliminated all of that and just went to black. That was a huge pain in the butt, trying to get that done. And then dealing with cross-border shipping as well, forgetting to mark everything was made in Canada, so having products seized at the border. Just proper research would have been better on that. But simplifying is honestly the best way to do things, and taking step by step and being very transparent, solve a lot of these problems.
No, I didn't even think of the component of transporting them internationally. Probably had a lot of people order them from all over the world. I wanted to ask you, how did you decide on a manufacturer, and where do you manufacture them at?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And everyone always says, well, let's get this made in China. And that's probably the worst thing you can do. Our product is made right in our own backyard, right in Winnipeg. And we picked a manufacturer that was close because our engineers knew that we needed to be there every single day of the manufacturing process for quality control. And it's a lot cheaper than flying out to China and having the language barrier and living out there to try to get that underway, because every manufacturing run and process has major problems. So when you're trying to optimize, change different gluing or different sensoring or even different lighting systems, which we need to do. So, the idea is to get a high quality product out there, pay a bit more once you got that all underway, and you can streamline that, and then you want to move that overseas, which we haven't done yet. I mean, our manufacturer has been phenomenal. But we chose someone that's quite flexible, understood our dream, and someone that's close enough for us to actually stick our hands physically in the plant.
I like that. A lot of people have decided to manufacture more locally because of the quality control issue. What advice would you give to those interested in inventing? Honestly, the best advice is to validate quickly. Kickstarter and Indigo are great for that, but before you even develop a full product, go out there and test it. See what they're going to pay. See what people are going to say about it. Some great advice I got in Kickstarter is that this mentor of mine said she launches product on the platform with no intention to fulfill, but cancels it before it actually reaches anything, so she can find out what people are going to pay and what people are saying about it and get your market feedback. If you're gonna do anything, you need to pick up that phone. You need to talk to customers. You need to validate in some way before you spend $1 on in creating what you think is right, because it may not fit in the market or fit what everybody else perceives. Great advice. Hey, I want to thank you for joining me today and answering my questions. I just wanted to ask one last question of you, Bryce.
Absolutely.
What have you enjoyed the most about this process since the first time you were sitting there having a beer with your buddy?
What I enjoy the most about this process, honestly, I love building cool stuff. I love working with a team that's as ambitious as all hell to take over the market and develop side by side. So the whole process has been fun behind that. We love our product. Our product works great. And seeing everyone's eyes light up when a sale comes in or when something works is just motivating. So working with a great team is definitely been the process. My favorite part of the process.
You've been listening to episode 8 of the Invention Stories Podcast with Bryce North, who invented TrapTap. I want to thank Bryce North for being our guest. This episode has been the second part in our 2-part series. For more information on TrapTap, please visit www.traptap.com. If you're an inventor and would like to be featured on Invention Stories Podcast, have a suggestion on how we can make this podcast better, or would like to sponsor our show, please contact us at inventionstoriespodcast@gmail.com. We invite you to visit our website at www.inventionstories.com. Thank you very much for listening today, and please tell a friend.